do you do SMSF, like self-managed super fund?
Yep. So there is a way to do self-managed super fund. So we can look at that, and we can certainly purchase properties in a self-managed super fund if you have the right balance and the right income. You know, there's still qualifying criteria, but certainly if you've got superannuation and you're getting 2, 3, 4%, you're better off putting it to better uses.
But how much is the starting to be qualified? Like how much money in the super they should have?
You need about 20% deposit.
And let's say about in figure about 170, 180.
Yeah, this would be 120 grand, 120 grand in your super. This house.
Yeah.
This is 600.
Oh, so if they have at least 150 grand, they are qualified to buy.
Yep, we can make that work. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that's 170 or 180.
It depends on your package. Your package was more than 600. That you were saying before. So you know, if it's 700,000, you need 140,000 plus stamp duty plus.
Oh, okay.
You know, rates and fees. You know, so that's where you got that figure.
It makes more clear to me because some of my friends they said I only have 140, 150. That's why I'm not so sure if they gonna be qualified to buy a super. Because super, if you buy property through super, that means you can use your super as a deposit,
You can structure it that way. It needs a bit of clever structuring, but it's certainly possible. I've helped plenty of people in the last 12 years in their self-managed super funds.
So that's good because you do a self-managed super fund, you do equity, and you do
guarantor, trust company,
and person buyer as well.
First home buyer, that's my specialty.
You do everything.
Anything. If you've got debts, we consolidate them into one easy breezy repayment. We do a deposit assist, case by case. Some clients we do a deposit assist, and there's a lot of different options. But it's all about clients need to send 2 pay slips or run the numbers and any other financial information that's relevant to them, and then I can come up with a game plan. You know, everyone's finance is different, but there is all the finance products out there that we're using, and it's just about getting people's details to then come up with a game plan.
And how about the coverage that you are capable of? Are you only in WA or you can do the other states as well?
So Locale is currently looking at doing over east. So we're actively looking at Queensland, Melbourne, and Adelaide as well. Adelaide we're already operating in. So anywhere around Australia, that's easy. Even Bali.
That's good.
So there's certainly a lot of options.
That's good range, because before you're only in one spot, but now you cover everything. So that's good for us because you can get a good price from every developer that you have.
That's my goal. My goal is to be independent. It's been hard to find the right route to sort of trust and the ethics. The way they approach things, professionalism, structures, processes, all that sort of stuff. Finally I found someone, so that's good. But the goal is always to become independent, not working for, I don't want to be working for one builder saying, oh, how great is this builder? It seems biased to me. Like, how can one builder be the best all the time? It's not possible. It doesn't exist, doesn't make sense. So if we can look at different builders and understand key things like volumes, how much volume are they doing? There's a Cordell report that comes out. We can see the volumes. More volume, higher risk in terms of time frames. So can we assess that, look at that, and then manoeuvre around it? There's also process and product reviews. Is it 5-star? Is it 5-star? Is it how are they doing? What are they doing well? It's also spec and inclusions. Is that price point good value in relation to that spec?
That's true.
High spec is not always the goal. Sometimes low spec makes sense, but at point in time, sometimes there's incredible value in some of the builders we're seeing with high spec. So we're looking at that sort of stuff. We're looking at quality as well. But we say with the quality, we explain different sort of build methods and what do you want. So we look at different build methods. Do you want double brick? You know, do you want brick veneer and timber? Do you want steel frame or wood frame? You know. So we don't say, we don't force you into one build product and style. We say what makes sense to you, or do you want more information on the different build styles?
Yeah.
You know. Also, you know, sometimes we can go into like areas in the hills, and not all the builders are set up to build in the hills. For example, you know, it's very large site works. You know, we're on slanty slopes and stuff like that, and a lot of builders don't touch it because it's high risk. There's a lot more stuff ups can happen on site, and they can lose money. With that sort of build. A lot of builders don't take that. We've got builders that will take that stuff on, and then even sort of custom stuff like skillied roofs, rake ceilings. We've got the builders that can do that sort of specialised stuff. A lot of builders don't want to do that because it can be areas more complicated the more money they lose, because you're going back and back and forth.
Backpacing and everything.
Exactly. You're a trainee, so you know they're more complicated. It's back and forth, which means expenses go up. So we just know depending on what you're trying to achieve, we know the right builder to put you at. If it's 2 stories, you know, like which builder there. If it's like if you're building a house behind a house, okay, cool. What's the right builder for that sort of setup? You know, you need to choose the right builder for depending on what you're building. So that's the benefit.
So at the moment, you still have 600 plus to build 3x2, and maybe 650 for 4x2 or something.
600,000 is like this. It's a window slowly disappearing.
Yeah,
So it's
keep going smaller and smaller.
without going to Mandra, it's slowly disappearing.
It's pretty much very hard to build that price now.
It's
So
incredibly
we
hard.
need to take opportunity to buy a property until we can build this much. Because normally, how much the average price to build a house here in Perth?
It averages 850,000.
That's expensive. Now for 4x2.
3x2, 4x2, it's not much difference.
And that price, let's say the $600,000 price now, in 3 or 4 years time, how much gonna be? What do you reckon?
That sort of area, I'm confident will be around 800,000 easily.
In 3 years time?
Easily, and I'm underestimating. Easily. Easily. Why? Because 5 minutes away in Piara Waters, this same house is about 950,000 as of today.
Oh, in Piara Waters.
Yep.
Better than when there's more population in that area.
Yeah, that's only 10 minutes away. 2-minute drive. 350 grand more. So for me, I just look at it's really like an arbitrage situation where why is that suburb significantly higher when it's a hop and skip away?
So what can you advise
with a brand new
house?
Houses, infrastructure, schools, like for like, exactly like Power Waters, same with this one.
So what can you advise to those people who is waiting until the price of the house goes down? Is it possible?
You know, my parents have been in property their whole life, and my uncle was a real estate agent. You know, my cousin was a property manager, and my parents would always invest every 4 years. And my pop said it. The best way to explain it is this: if you're looking for, he used to say to me, Shae, I used to say when I was younger, I might go down. What happens this, that, the other? He goes, mate, if you're looking for prices to go down, you'd be waiting your whole life. Because it's never going to happen. You know? And no one can time the market. It's time in the market, you know? So, like...
Yeah, I think that's possible because I have a friend waiting for 3 years now to go down. Not going down, it keeps going up.
The last 3 years he's cost himself about... So last year was 25%, the year before about 10. So he's cost himself about 40% or about 350 grand. Or in 3 years, he's cost himself $100,000 a year or $2,000 a week. So for me, the consequences of being out in the market is too risky. $2,000 a week, really? You might as well not work. Like, that's what he's cost himself.
Yeah. So pretty much they lose money from waiting.
It's called the equity burn. Equity burn.
Imagine if they decide before 3 years time, pretty much they build really good equity on the house now if they start before.
When I hear those things, I hear I hear hyper focus on price. But what is, you've got to interrogate reality and bring out the conversation to be real. And what I mean by that is look at true indicators. What are true indicators? Okay, so since 2020, you've literally got, that's when this whole economic sort of boom happened.
Yeah.
You've got JobKeeper, JobSeeker, you've got the big $55,000 grants, right? So they pumped huge amounts of money into the economy, right? Tax breaks for companies, businesses, etc. All that sort of stuff, right? From there, we looked at other indicators. We looked at, okay, what is the housing stock? So normal housing stock in the established market is 15,000 homes for sale. So that's an indicator. How many established old homes are on the market? Generally, it's 15,000.
Yeah.
It's been running about 3,000 to 4,000 established homes at the moment. So that's a low figure.
In whole Australia or just
Western Australia.
Western Australia.
Yeah. So Western Australia. So 3,000 to 4,000. You know.
Not
Not only that, was COVID population in WA 2 million. Now it's 3 million. Notice the traffic's crazy.
Insane.
Another million people. 5 years.
In 5
30,
years.
33% increase.
That's why very expensive. The housing price here goes expensive, and the rental goes expensive as well.
Yeah. So
Because
high
the-
population. It's a
Yeah.
perfect storm. So high population, low inventory. There's nothing in terms of like relatively. There's no properties for sale. Like 4,000 is nothing. It's meant to be 15,000, right? Also coupled with low interest rates during COVID, they went too low, as low as like 2% for interest rates. Interest rates are still relatively low, but that's back then when they reduced it to 2%, roughly the interest rates. It was too low. Anyone could buy anything. So that's the other thing. Interest rates are relatively low. Mining's good.
Yeah, mining's good.
Mining's good. Yep. And the vacancy rate. So vacancy rate is another indicator. It's about how quick does a property rent out.
Yeah.
Okay. So you used to be like 20 days it took to rent out a property. Now it's like 4 to 5 days.
So if you are going to build a house, it's nothing to worry that no one is going to rent. Pretty much everyone is waiting for rental property now.
So housing crisis.
Yeah.
Housing
Good
crisis,
luck
eh?
getting a rental. Good luck. Like that's what I say to people. I would find it harder to rent than buy a property. Hands down. Easily.
I think that's true.
You want to compete with 30, 40 people? Like, that's what it
For
is.
the rental,
It is.
and that's not cheap. That's about $650-$700 per week.
Yep,
No
minimum.
bid for hire.
Yep,
I give it for hire as well.
yep. Any property manager will tell you,
Oh yeah.
like, they're going to offer $50 to $100 more per week.
Ah,
And some people will go, okay, I'll pay cash next 12 months. Prepaid it out.
so pretty much when we build a house, pretty much we're helping other people to put a roof in their head.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much we're helping them as well. So they're helping us with the rent. We're helping them as well so that they have place to stay.
Because not everyone can get... the reason people rent is they can't get the money from the bank.
Yeah, that's true. Right?
So not everyone can get a house.
Yeah.
If it was so easy, everyone would own a house. So you're right. You do create more supply and help people put a roof over their head. You know, because they can't get that finance.
Yeah.
Which is good. Better in a house than on the streets.
So what can you advise that you can give to those people who has enough equity to build a property?
In a rising market like this, you're mad not to use the equity. Like, it's nearly irresponsible. Like I've been waiting 10 years for this sort of boom. Like since once it hit in 2020, and it's still going, and it hasn't stopped. We can tell in the next 12 months what's going to happen. You know, we're not sure year 2, but the next 12 months at least, like 10 to 15%. There's no surprise. It's all around the news, everything like that. I track it monthly. I track the growth monthly. We are tracking towards that 10-15%. Once you look at that sort of growth monthly, you know, you only need to hit 1% on average per month. To, you know, 1% per month. 12 months a year, 12%. Like
so pretty much every 12 months, every 1 year goes up 12%.
Well, in the last 5 years, it's been good.
Oh,
it's been
that's good.
And it's with those
Good for the investors.
Well, that's the other thing. That's why you see a lot of people from last year. Every second person was from New South Wales.
That's true.
Going, oh, is this true? Is it really $700,000 to buy a house? This would cost about $3 million in Sydney. Why is it so cheap, Shae? No, that must be the wrong pricing, surely. It's like, no, it's a little bit different in Sydney. We'll get to Sydney one day, but
Too expensive.
you know, you get the investors from over east, and they go in real quick.
Yeah, that's true.
So, that's the other problem. Once the market's so good, it's hard for first home buyers, and the investors jump in. It gets even harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
Just jump on the invest.
How about
Yeah, you know, you're investing.
How about the age of the people who's going to buy? There is any specific age limit to buy a property?
Just 18 years. Yeah, 18 years of age. Yeah.
18 years, but how about the older people?
That's good. That's a very good question. So, look, the banks don't like lending above 55
Yeah.
to first home buyers. Let me clarify.
Yeah.
To first home buyers. When you're approaching that older age, they need an exit strategy, as in a high superannuation, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So it becomes problematic for first home buyers around that 55-year age, because you need to show a very strong exit strategy, like a very large super balance. Now, if you're 55 and you've got one property, you know, with the right loan to value ratio, the right equity levels, like we were talking about before,
Yeah.
at that point it becomes okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's case by case. But for a first home buyer, you know, the policy of the bank is a 30-year loan term. So let's say you're 40, add 30 years, 30-year loan term, right?
70.
That's 70. So the time starts ticking down when you're 40.
That's
And
right.
it gets very problematic at 55. At 56, game over. They will not
Yeah.
lend as a first home buyer.
Okay.
They won't, unless you've got a super high superannuation balance. A very large superannuation balance. So people don't realise the window is like this.
Getting smaller, right?
Yeah, because it's not about if the market's going up and down. It's about what are the finance policies doing. It's great if the market. So let me tell you, one of your friends, I think, it's like, hey, the market's. He think it might go down, which is crazy. But anyway, so you know, so he thinks it's going to go down, but it's like, cool. Even if it was going to go up, what's your age? What's the finance policies relevant to you?
That's true.
It's so true.
The depreciation as well.
I've seen people go, I'm ready now, cool. You're 56, can't help you. I'd love to, but the bank's the boss.
Too late, eh?
Banking policy is banking policy. So it's not about the market or anything as well. It's about the finance policies. You know?
That's true.
Yeah, because you hit 56, what happens? So, okay, let's say you live to 86, cool. Rent $600 a week minimum. That's 30 grand a year. 30 grand a year for 30 years is $1 million. So you've just put yourself into a situation where you need to pay $1 million in rent. Because 30 grand, 30 years, you do the numbers, it's $1 million.
Yeah.
So it's the
right.
consequences of not.
For deciding too late.
It's not just about what's going up and down in price point. You can go, oh, it's so expensive. Cool. So I was renting for $1 million over 30 years.
Yeah.
Think about the finance policies and how they affect you.
That's true.
It's very true.
They need to realize that
They do.
they're not getting younger, they're getting older.
Yeah. So that's
And
very
the
important.
job opportunity as well. So
It's very important, that sort of stuff.
anyway, what can you introduce your company? What's your company again?
So I'm working with Locale Homes and help a lot of Filipinos. I've got a company called Pinoy Housing as well.
Yeah.
Nutsales referred me a lot of clients over the last sort of 5 years, really.
Yeah, it's a long time.
yeah, it's been quite a long time.
15.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So it's been a good journey.
Yeah.
So just helping a lot of people in the last 5 years, and it's been going from strength to strength.
Yeah, thank you so much for the information. That's gold information.
It is, and no one tells you these things.
Yeah, no one tells you. And this is a lot of information that pretty much help a lot of Filipinos.
It is.
Not only Filipinos, lots of mates, lots of Australians who wanted to buy a property.
Yeah, of course.
That's really true that if they want to buy a property, the time is now. No need to wait because the housing price keeps going up every day. Not monthly, every day.
So even in news articles, there's a news article saying it's going up on average $500 a day.
$500.
Yeah, there's a news article saying $500 a day on average. I just look at it. It's been running at about minimum $1,000 a week, conservatively, and that's only 50 grand upside every year. It's been much more than that. So I can conservatively say $1,000 a week easily. You know, minimum.
So it's pretty much already hard to buy property in 5-10 years time. It's way too expensive.
We're getting to the point where first home buyers will probably not be able to buy homes. And,
Oh,
you know,
they need to take this chance now.
yeah.
Okay.
Everyone will be in one-bedroom apartments.
All right, I think that's it. Thank you so much for your help.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shae.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you very much.
Shae.
Yeah. Pleasure.
Oh.